Yossi Mekelberg is an Associate Fellow with the Middle East and North Africa Programme at London's Chatham House. Yossi, welcome back to the programme. Good to see you. Well, 1 year ago, what was Israel trying to achieve in response to Hamas's attacks that killed over 1,100 people?
Good afternoon. Thank you for having me. Obviously, it's a very sad anniversary, and the fact that a year later we're still in the middle of a war that actually expanded to other fronts tells you a lot about what has happened and the continuing bloodshed and devastation. Israel immediately after October 7, which was of course traumatic, and the atrocities committed by Hamas caught Israel by complete shock, set itself targets to eliminate Hamas, to bring the hostages back, and later when the front or the war expanded to the north, also to bring the displaced back to the north. Right now the war is still going on in Gaza. There are more than 100 hostages in the hands of Hamas and other groups in Gaza. And I don't think that at this point Israel actually knows what it wants to achieve, how to end the war and enter into a new phase in which is political and diplomatic.
Given that, what happens next, do you think, in the Middle East? We've talked about the last 12 months, but in the 12 months to come, what happens now?
I think we are in one of the most dangerous moments in modern history of the Middle East, when two of the major powers, Iran and Israel, are squaring to one another, and we know their military capabilities. That's a dangerous point. And as we speak, we hear from Israeli leaders, the political and military ones, that a retaliation to Iran's attack last week is going to take place, and it's going to be painful. The reaction from Iran is that if such a thing does happen, it will also lead for an Iranian attack. So we are entering into a phase in which Israel is involved in a multi-front war, and also for the first time, directly encounter a conflict with Iran that might drag the entire region into it, and also external forces.
I don't know if you heard our programme a little earlier. France's President Emmanuel Macron has called for arms deliveries to Israel for use in Gaza to stop, and as you may know, Netanyahu has issued a stinging rebuke to that. What does all this say about the role of the international community?
I think obviously the international community failed. I think it failed along the years to bring the Israeli-Palestinian conflict to an end and let it fester, not to take out the responsibility of Israel and the Palestinians, but also, you know, the region and Europe and the United States, I think, felt their responsibility in bringing to an end the Israeli-Palestinian conflict with dreadful consequences. But within the last 12 months, the fact that there is still not a ceasefire, you know, after so many people killed, the devastation of Gaza, and Israel doesn't have actually more military target as such or an objective to achieve within Gaza that it can achieve politically. But the question is, on the one hand, not to weaken Israel to a point that it's vulnerable, but disagree with the way it conducts its war, which costs the life of so many innocent civilian people, including children. And this is unacceptable. And I think this is a conversation between friends. The fact that Netanyahu is always overreacting because he speaks to his base, that's the way he does it. His reaction was very similar with Britain. Actually decided to withdraw 10% of the licenses of the entire military aid, which is less than 42 million pounds. It's a kind of thing we try to, if you're going to impose on us any restriction on using weapons, we are going to react badly. But the reality, the big question, is what is Netanyahu's plan to end the war in Gaza and also to bring the hostages back?